Hello and welcome back to some SevTech Ages of the Sky. This is episode 9. Today we'll be looking at blood magic. Now in the advancements you don't need blood magic very much at all. It's just making the, and it's a total side quest. You don't need to do either of these at all. But if you're a completionist, you can make the blood altar and then the apple of lofty stature if you're one of those people who likes to get rid of your step up abilities. I like the step up ability, so I'll be keeping mine. Otherwise you can make two apples if you want to toggle it on and off. So you can toggle it off by eating one and then toggle it back on by eating a second one. But I will use blood magic to get a little bit more quality of life stuff going. Most notably a very useful lighting item. So we'll just go over some of the crafts here. As you see, I've already got mine's initial setup kind of done. It's definitely not completely done. I will be doing a little bit of build for the blood magic stuff. Just haven't gotten that far just yet. I've gotten my blood altar filled up with blood for now, just to do some extra crafting a little bit later, but I've done most of it so far, as you can see. So to get going in the blood magic mod, you need to start with the rudimentary snare, and you throw these at monsters. And it doesn't work 100% of the time, so sometimes it takes multiple snares to get the effect going, which is a white particle effect, and that's on hostile mobs. So you will need to find a place to go fight some hostile mobs someplace along the way. So this recipe here, ash, you just get by putting any kind of log onto the grill, and that will get you the ash. So if you're looking for that, that's just there. And then 4 pieces of tin, 4 string will get you 4 rudimentary snares. If you just want to do the basic things, I suggest making 8, because you might not get a demonic will on the first 4, and then you'll be frustrated. So just make 8, and that way you'll guarantee yourself getting at least 1 demonic will. If you want to go further into mod, make 16, 20, 24 snares so that you can gather a few demonic wills. You can't hurt to have more than you need, because you can always throw them into a tartaric gem, one of these guys, afterwards, which will hold will for you. To make the blood altar itself, you take the demonic will you get from the rudimentary snare, furnace, some stone, some bronze, you get the blood altar. To get blood into the blood altar, you need the sacrificial dagger. So this guy, you need a sharp bone, which you just get by in-world hitting a bone against a piece of rock, a couple of bronze, gets you the sacrificial dagger. And then just while you're in the vicinity of your altar, you just right click on that, and then it will take life away from you and put it into the altar. And then from there, you just need to put the requisite 1,500 life points into the altar, put an apple, vanilla apple on top, and that will remove it, because you start with the step height at a full block, and then this will remove it. So if you eat it one time, then if you want to get the, like I said, you want to get the step up back, you can eat it a second time if you just want to get the advancement. So a couple of the quality of life things that I will be doing is the big one is the sigil of the blood lamp. So this thing will throw little bits of light out there, and they're mostly invisible, even though they still have a little bit of a particle effect, but not quite like these tiki torches, which emit a whole bunch of particles, or regular torches, which have the particles. So they're pretty handy, and they're also really good because you can throw them any distance and they will go out and light up places. It's particularly useful for getting things lit up in the beneath. And the unfortunate thing is that we actually need to go to the beneath first before we can get there. So I'll just go over what we need here to get the sigil of the blood lamp. So in an alchemy array, we put a blood lamp reagent and a reinforced slate, and that gives us our sigil. An alchemy array is made with arcane ashes, which is you put into the Hellfire forge. So the Hellfire forge works a little bit like a furnace. You actually have to put demonic will into it to make it work. This particular craft doesn't take any will at all, but you need something there. So either a raw will or a tartaric gem, and with a minimum of 0 will stored in it. And then you need a charcoal, white dye, a couple of ash, and that will give you arcane ashes. I think you get 10 uses out of 1 arcane ash, so you don't need to make a ton of this, especially in SevTech. So the Hellfire forge is just a block of copper, bronze, 2 tin, some stone. Pretty easy craft on that guy there. And then the other quality of life thing I have done is to make an incense altar. If you read in the book, you can actually increase the amount of life you get into your altar with the incense altar. So if I just go back here, the incense altar is here, which is actually in the architect section. And then the architect section has most of the stuff that you'll be using if you want to read up in here. There's a couple of things in here, but I think most of this stuff is disabled in SevTech. So architect is where you'll find most of the stuff that you will use in the book if you want to read through that. But yeah, so incense altar goes over what it's all about, and then it tells you that it will increase how much life points you get from a heart of health, and it will increase it by about 20% with the basic incense altar. And the other thing that it will do, and we'll just place it down so I can show you, is you can, instead of just poking yourself for 1 heart at a time with it, it will actually sacrifice 90% of your current health and put it all into the pool at once. So it's just basically a lot quicker for getting it in. And how you know the incense altar is active is when your sacrificial dagger changes to this glowing animation there. So I'm not going to do it right now because you should be on as full a life as you can be to maximize the use you get out of it, and my blood altar's almost full at this point anyways, so I don't need to put any more blood into it at all. So working on the sigil here. So we need this blood lamp reagent. This is made in the Hellfire forge with a candle, any kind of candle, doesn't have to be the colored kind, a torch, and 2 pieces of ash with a lesser tartaric gem. And you need a lesser tartaric gem because you need a minimum of 200 will stored in there. It will only use up 10 will out of that, but you need at least 200 will in the tartaric gem. So the route to get to there is pretty difficult, and the reason why you need to get to the beneath first is because you need the sentient sword, because that will eliminate the need for using rudimentary snares to generate will. To make the sentient sword, you need either an iron sword, which we don't get till the next age, or the black quartz sword, and the black quartz is in the beneath itself. So you combine that with a petty tartaric gem, and this is another one of those crafts you don't actually need any will in there, but you will need something in the fuel slot. I'll just go over the UI here of the Hellfire Forge. This is the fuel slot, so you'd put either your demonic will or one of your tartaric gems there, and then the 4 items that you do in the craft in there go there. This is the output slot in the middle, and this is just the energy progression bar type of thing for the craft. So when you see a Hellfire Forge recipe, you do have to put it in this order. So the candle and the torch on top, and then the 2 ashes on the bottom. If I can wait to cycle to the white candle, we will see the recipe there. 2 tallow or 2 beeswax and a string. So you can get beeswax from the rustic beehive that I made in the last episode, or you can also put some meat in the cauldron to get tallow. And the other one, the other craft for the candle is putting monster rotten flesh onto the grill. Will also give you the tallow that you need to make the candle. So then the last thing that we need is the reinforced slate, because this item here you actually can't get until stage 2, but the reinforced slate, you need a tier 2 blood altar. So with the blood altar down just by itself, that's the tier 1. And then you can put 8 runes around the outside to make it a tier 2. And runes are made by putting together stone, a blood orb, either weak or apprentice, and a couple of blank slates. Blank slates are made by putting stone, so you'll have to cook up a bunch of stone. You can use your grill for that, pretty easy to do. Takes 1,000 life points per blank slate to make there. And I'll just show you the recipe for the blood orb. Takes a diamond. Whoops, we don't have diamonds at this point. But a coagulated blood. So coagulated blood is made in the casting basin. And you just need to get blood in there. How do we get blood? Well, we can cook up rotten flesh. Each rotten flesh gives us 40. And the recipe for one orb is 160. So 4 pieces of rotten flesh in there, and you'll need to put it on a table with no doesn't require any cast to be in there on top. So you just put your flesh on, 4 flesh in there, and then pour it out onto a flat table, and you'll get your coagulated blood. And then you put your coagulated blood on your altar, and that will change over to the blood orb here. So this craft for the slates does not consume your blood orbs. Any crafts that include the blood orb here do not consume it, so don't worry about that there. So once you got your 8 runes, you can make some upgrade runes as well. So if we just look at the use on there, we can make speed runes. We can make Rune of Sacrifice. So if you don't like sacrificing your own life to get blood into your altar, you can make this kind of rune, and then that allows you to sacrifice any kind of mob, so either hostile or tame mob, like horses or what have you. You get more blood from hostile mobs, and you can tell if that's marked because they will be glowing if you get them over close to your altar here as well. So yeah, I made the speed runes just to make the crafting a little bit faster, but if you also want to get more life out of, or more utilization, you can use the Rune of Self-Sacrifice as well. So on the tier 2, you can only put the upgrade runes in the cardinal positions. You can't put them on the diagonals. But if you go up to level 3 and above, which if you really want to research, you can look it up on other YouTube channels or whatnot if you wanted to go up to tier 3. But it's really hard in the Skyblock version because we don't have, not that I've ever seen, any access to Prismarine, so that we can get the sea lanterns that you need to make the tier 3 altar. Yes, so the other thing about the incense altar, if you read through the book, you can increase the efficiency you get out of it using these wooden path blocks. But these take the Apprentice blood orb, and the Apprentice blood orb takes, a block of, no, we don't have blocks of redstone just yet, but Corallium pearls. These are findable, and we will need them. I'll go over it in the next episode when we talk about Abyssal Craft, but you can get a Corallium pearl, put it on there. 5,000 life points later, you'll get the Apprentice blood orb. Then you can start making a little setup for Incense altar to really uptick the amount of life that you get per poke out of your sacrificial dagger into your altar. think that's all I wanted to touch base on in this one. I think you probably noticed while looking at my UI, I've gotten all of my nutrition up to full bore now, and that's thanks to all of the life that I've been pouring into this guy to make the runes and the slates and all the stuff to get this up to the tier 2. So it's kind of one of the one of the benefits of having the blood altar around is you can do that. You can also, if you really want to work on getting your nutrition up, you can just wail away on your mill device here with nothing in it, and it'll still take your hunger points away. So that's an option for you as well. Whether you want to use it or not, it's up to you. I do appreciate you all for watching the video. Post comments down below if I missed something or if you have any questions. I'm pretty sure I touched on everything that I'm going to be using in this pack. And in the regular ages, I did take it up to a tier 3 altar, and I got access to the common Tartaric gem, which is the one after the lesser, and that because the more will you have stored in your Tartaric gems gives you more damage on the sentient sword. This sentient sword does not sit at 1 hearted damage. It just depends on how much will you have in your Tartaric gems. So the petty ones go up to 64, lessers go up to 256, and then the common one, which you can make in age 2, goes up to 1,000. So at that stage, my sentient sword had a damage of 9. So, yeah. I hope you all have a good one, and I will see you on the next episode where we talk about Abyssalcraft and get on with the rest of, or get moving on the rest of the advancements here. Getting up this way and into the beneath. Take care and have a good one.